Play one more time. Easier for the intro, so I don't have to edit it.
Boom. Cave. What up, caveman?
And we are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cave Podcast. It's your host, Joe Reezy. I'm here with the sports team member, Kyle Source Glory. He covers the combat sports section over there. And before we get started, guys, I just want to remind you to go check out the website, cave.com. That's K4V3.com. There you could buy a hoodie. You could buy a t-shirt. You could buy a cave mug. Go support the show, guys. And now, let's get started. We have a special guest for you tonight. Chris O'Neill from Box for Sobriety is on the show. Welcome to the show, Chris. What's going on, man? How are you doing
Thanks
tonight?
for having me, man. I'm doing good. Excited. This was the first podcast I've ever been invited to and ever done, so should be fun.
Awesome,
Nice.
man. Awesome.
Glad to have you,
And
bro.
your content and your personality online kind of gravitates towards us, especially
That's cool.
Kyle. Box for Sobriety kind of speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
You want to go into that and the origins of the name?
The name was real simple. I've always loved boxing, but I'd never had picked it up. I don't really know why I never did try it. I was always playing football, basketball, things like that growing up. But yeah, cut to being an alcoholic. Once I was faced with the decision of, is this the life I'm going to live forever? Because this past time I've gotten a DUI, and I'm sure we'll cover the timeline in the story, but this last time was my second DUI. So, and the case is still pending. So I'm not even sure exactly how much in detail I should go about, as far as what happened that day, but it was pretty rough. I had my daughter in the car with me and, lost custody of her for 8 months. And at the time I was a single dad. I had her, full custody by myself. So that really hit hard, that DUI, this past one. So I knew I had to do something. I was real, I was just super at my lowest, rock bottom. Yeah. And Tony Jeffries, man, he's an Olympic boxer. You may have seen him on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He had actually reached out to me at my lowest point. I was suicidal the night that they came and took my daughter, and him reaching out to me at that night, it kind of was like I thought about boxing more, and I was like, I'm going to be stuck here at home. I obviously got my license taken away and everything. And I was like, this is a opportune time to, really try to change who I am. And I know you hear a lot of people talk about boxing and the things that come with it, the pluses, the discipline being one of them that I really missed. Since being out of the military, I missed that discipline, and I've never been able to really hold myself accountable. I've always either had a drill sergeant or my parents or, someone to kind of make sure I do what I'm supposed to do. And, when I got out of that structure and I was up to, my own choices, my own decisions, I, fell into drinking and slowly became an alcoholic. But yeah, boxing, man, when I got into boxing, I really wanted to be good at it because I knew I had a purpose. I wanted to use it to help keep my mind from being so depressed and about everything that happened, just to kind of keep me busy. So I trained every single day like a madman. I would work on something. And I just fell in love with it. I haven't not fell out of love with it, not a single bit. I'm actually starting to like it even more and more. As the social media grows, and like that's another thing too. I kind of, I didn't start out wanting a big audience for it. It was more of to kind of just document my my journey for myself is like a journal. I've never been the type to write, but I know journals are very important. And yeah, it kind of just started picking up. People could dig the fact that, you know, the sobriety thing, you know, doing it because that a lot of people, you know, out there are battling, you know, with that. That's one thing that I see a lot in the DMs. People, you know, talk about, and it's hard. And I you know, I try to look for advice to give them the best advice, but really, it's I don't think that I could have done it without, you know, having faced that decision. You know, are you ready to just call it quits and, you know, die, or you want to, you know, really change the way I've been living? And that was enough for me to stop drinking, which, and I don't want to just ramble on, you know, so just cut me off if you want to, you know, ask a question or go into another topic or anything like that. But
for sure,
I still wear an alcohol monitor because, like I said, the case keeps getting pushed back. It's been like a year and a half. So I'm sober, I guess you could say, mainly due to the fact that I have this alcohol monitor on. And if I drink, you know, it every 5 minutes it'll go off and it like detects the sweat glands for alcohol. So if I was to drink, I would just go to jail immediately.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
wow,
it's huge too, man. Like, you would think with today's technology, they could figure out something, but I don't know if you see that. I mean, it's like a briefcase. And that in itself, it's a lot to get used to, man. It's very uncomfortable.
Huh. So that's awesome that Tony Jeffries reached out. How did that come about? Were you guys already in contact, or
I would comment on his videos, man. Like I said, I've always loved boxing, so I, you know, watched YouTube stuff on boxing, and he was starting to pop up a lot, and I would just comment here and there. And I think I sent him a few messages on Instagram first, and, you know, just about boxing stuff. And then I think one night, you know, being drunk, I sent him some things, telling him that, for lack of a better words, I was telling him while I was drunk texting him saying, man, I hate myself, but I like this sucks. I can't break this, you know, something along those lines, and totally forgot about it, obviously, because I was drunk. But the night that, the roughest night for me, it was when he had just happened to just message back. He saw it, and he had saw all the other messages prior, but he had never replied. But that last one, when, you know, I would have been embarrassed to have seen that I wrote that to him, instead of him, you know, judging me, he actually, like, that's what caused him to reach back out.
Wow.
So yeah, it really touched home with me. And then, man, like, it was 6 months later, not 6 months later, 3 to 4, 5 months later, I was out in LA with a one-on-one training session with him.
Fuck yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
He's over at is it Box and Burn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think he co-owns that with Glenn Holmes, if I'm not mistaken.
I see.
Yeah,
man. That's kind of, I was talking with Kyle earlier about social media and how it's kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to mental health, because there's obviously the negative benefits, or the negative side of having social media and the effects of of that on your mental health. But there's also the positive of, you know, making a connection that would have never been made unless there was social media, like Instagram, sending a DM to Tony Jeffries, like I mean, you're from the East Coast. I mean, how would you ever cross paths with him unless you had his address or his phone number?
Right.
And you know what I mean? So that's awesome that he reached out too. So shout out to Tony Jeffries, man.
It's wild. I'm all for social media, more so now, but like you said, that there are, you know, so many negative things that come with it, especially if you're battling any type of, you know, mental illness or an addiction, and you're kind of looking for social media as to find those connections, because you do find those, but you're gonna find those people that just, like it, if so, if that I had a video kind of go viral of me shadowboxing like my family in a store, and people like a lot of comments was like, oh, this dude's methed out, or he's on back on the drugs, and that's a drawback to the name as well, because Box for Sobriety, they see that and I'm like, yeah, so you trade in one drug for another or something like that. It's always something. And man, sometimes you don't want to let it get to you, but sometimes it's like, man, why do I do this if nobody, but the pros outweigh the cons for me right now.
For sure. Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, the demographics and the audience of each platform is so different too. Like Instagram, I feel like is more G-rated, but you get to TikTok and it's no holds barred.
Really? TikTok's that bad?
Don't make a TikTok comment. I mean, Chris, TikTok blows up probably the fastest though, right?
True, I think so.
But just like the pros and cons, you have to sift through a lot of bullshit because, like you said, they have no shame over there. They'll attack the name.
They'll jump in your lives.
I've seen some people like go as far as like look you up on Google to do like some kind of research on you to hit you with a comment, man. It's like, God damn.
Yeah, man. I try to have my youngest daughter, I don't mind still, because we're just, playing around. But I have an older daughter, she thinks it's cool that, we got a little bit of subscribe or some followers. And she's like, yeah, let's go live. I want to go live with you. She thinks that's cool. She's at that age. And man, I try to do that. And then it's just the comments start coming in, like stuff that I don't want her, reading or seeing. And
Chris, what kind of criticism do you get, man? Is it like in regards to your technique or like?
Oh no, man, it's really about
anything.
Yeah, it's because I'm high energy, so they think they accuse me of being on drugs. And they'll even be like, look at your pupils, man. And like they go into these in-depth reasons of why they know, like from one addict to another, man, I can tell that you're using. And it's like it's so hard because I know what I'm having to go through in order to not, go down that road or to use substances or anything, and to still have that look to where, people see you that way. And it's just, you got to come to terms with this. Just some people go feel that way.
Man, just like Nick Diaz said, man, where I'm from, people like that get smacked.
Yeah, but most of them people wouldn't say that.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
they're gonna type it on a comment.
Exactly, Twitter fingers, bro. Exactly.
And most of them are super young. Yeah, I'm 36 years old, man. So it really doesn't bother me as much as it would if I was in my 20s.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But every once in a while, all the regular troll shit doesn't affect me. But it's when it comes to sobriety, like it's that can get me still at at times,
right?
But I'm getting a good foundation of good people who have followed me from the time where like I was only getting 100 views, a video, and I'm not getting crazy views now. It's just the past year that I've consistently, I mean, that's my main thing, has just been consistently posting, because I'm consistently training every day. I'm training something. So why not put the content out there? But over the past year, those little hundreds of views videos has gotten me a group of people that I feel like I know, and I've never met them. They're just, there's a lot of good people out there that can really relate, that are going through the same thing, if not, something very similar. Because we all go through shit like that. I mean, it happens. It's just
one thing about like human interaction too. It's like if you say you usually say it for like 3-4 other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So being the one that actually goes out and does it, that alone inspires people. And we had a guy on the podcast, shout out to Brendan. He said last time, I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger that said this quote, if you're going to go and aim to please a million people, then you have to be okay with pissing like a few thousand off,
right?
You know? So can't really focus on that, but it's hard, man. Like you said, because they get personal. You know what I mean? Some of these comments are like beyond low blows.
Yeah, and you don't know what to do with it. Like I've catch myself, and I found myself deleting comments because I built this a somewhat positivity vibe, you know, and there's days where I'm not having a good day, and I might clap back too fast and say something that, you know, an hour later I'm deleting it because I'm like, nah, this is not what I'm about, you know.
Bro, I'm glad that you mentioned that because, you know, as much as we want to value and strengthen our masculinity, you know, and our skin and thicken our skin, that if you're having a good day and you see a comment like that, it can really affect your energy, bro.
True.
People don't know that shit. Sure. You read one comment and it'll like ruin my day, bro. I'm just like, you know,
especially if it touches, you know, something personal.
Yeah, so I can relate to that, man. And you know, even with Jarizi, we communicate. The team communicates on Discord and Instagram. But I've been kind of in a low place. He knows me personally, and I have to delete Instagram, or it's going to affect my day. Because that validation, that need for validation and instant gratification is constant, bro. Especially when I'm working. I'm trying to like keep my mind off of work, and I'm trying to like, you know, do other things, play games, whatever it is. But I find myself just gravitating towards the IG icon all the time. And I'm like, click, scroll, post. And before you know it, you know, I'm like, oh, I only got 3 likes on this video. What the? And it kills my
because
ego.
You know how much time you put into it. I mean, that's understandable, man. It is a lot of work to do that on a consistent basis, especially the way you guys are running things. I mean, your stuff is like legit. And I feel like, you know, I don't know how long you've been doing it, but you're definitely on the right track. I mean, I think
Thank
so
you,
for
man.
sure. How long have you been doing this?
I'm pretty new to the team, but I think you guys have been doing it for like a year or so, right?
Yeah, almost. Probably started around July, so not even a year.
Yeah, that's not long at all.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys come out the gate like this set up?
So no, not really. I think what helped our growth was the fact that we have a team to just kind of bounce ideas off, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we would put out, like, after our first podcast, we would all review it and then just have, you know, 3 perspectives of how to improve that.
Yeah.
And from there, we brought another person on the team, 4 or 5. And I think what helps is that we're not really boxed into a specific category.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, so there's a lot of funnels. There's a lot of entrances to the cave. You know what I mean?
A lot of
are all
gatekeepers,
y'all? Did you know each other beforehand? Like, are y'all boys or?
Yeah. So Kyle and me personally, we grew up together. Actually, our fathers were close, so we're childhood friends.
Yeah.
And
literally, like, since we were kids, bro.
Yeah.
And how? Excuse me. How old are you?
I'm 33.
Like my age? Okay.
Yeah, I'm 33, so pretty close.
Cool.
About the
Close
same.
enough.
Same age area. And yeah, so the rest of the guys on the team, those are guys that I went to high school with. So we've been kind of close knit. So that helped with the team chemistry of making things kind of run smoother. You know, there wasn't the awkward phase of breaking the ice. So that kind of accelerated the work instead of you know, having to build like team building and get the chemistry in order. Man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And I think the setting of having, like, you know, homies just kind of shoot the shit.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
It's relatable for the audience, I think, too.
I feel like that's the only way, because I was hesitant to do this because I feel like I don't speak well, and I've gotten better, but I have to be real comfortable in order to not like trip up over my words or think too hard about what I'm trying to say. And I work as like a data analyst where I have to talk to people to figure out like how to troubleshoot or help run a meeting or something. And it's something that I thought about starting a podcast just so that because I know the more you speak, the better you're gonna get.
Right. Yeah.
So like even if it was just a podcast, just for my own way to like verbally document like a journal again, that was something that I've been thinking about.
Bro, that's beautiful, man. Because I think that kind of sparked something that I was thinking about. The idea of facing adversity and doing hard things.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys, Joe Rogan, Andrew Huberman, David Goggins, they preach that, don't run away from the things that you don't want to do. Do the things that you don't want to do, and it'll strengthen your character, it'll strengthen your body, it'll strengthen your mind. So what you just said, man, is powerful. I hate talking, but I talk on the phone for a living. I work for a call center, but every single one of those calls, it strengthens my ability to articulate. So what you're doing, man, is you're like your mindset, not what you're doing
right
specifically, but the mindset, the intention, I think is something that we can all relate to, bro. Is
I wish that I don't know whenever you learn that mindset, but man, I didn't have that 4 years ago. I went through a little spell with the military, but that was structured. There's nothing that I was able to identify within myself and learn how, to have that mindset. Like you said, if something sucks, that's what I want to do, because I know now I know what the benefits are of doing those sucky things. So, I mean, I wish I could, I'm hoping that I can find a way to help younger people like catch on to that before they're our age.
Something happens, bro. And bro, I think Jarizi even said it, because this is like my forte, mental health and martial arts. He's like, hey, you and Chris are gonna be best friends, bro. I'm like,
I'm like,
probably, dude, because
give you the alley.
Yeah, man, like I would love to collab with you, bro. Like this is exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm a suicide survivor. Without going into too much detail, I survived a suicide. I gave my life to God. I got sober, and like I was in the same position, man. I was cornered. I was divorced. I was like losing my shit, and I was like, what do I need to do to get back on my feet? And it was like automatic Muay Thai. I threw myself into Muay Thai, quit smoking, quit drinking, quit watching porn. Threw myself into the gym. Did the road work, did the cardio, changed my life, bro. Right now, I'm not doing very well. I'm still working on some stuff. But
the plot twist.
Yeah, that's the plot twist. But
hey, maybe you just need to, another kickstart to get you back on track, bro.
Exactly, man. But I think what really helps is remembering that I was able to do it. There was like a period of time where it was like 2 years, man, fasting, cold showers. I swear to God, bro, like I woke up every morning like, wow, I love myself. Like I love what I'm doing. Everything, every single action, decision that I'm making is for the best version of myself.
And
whether it be waking up, taking a cold shower, fasting, and doing the road work, forcing myself to do the road work, forcing myself to do cardio, forcing myself to hit the heavy bag. And now, I'm in this place where I'm kind of just avoiding everything. I'm avoiding my friends. I'm avoiding social media. I'm kind of like in isolation, and that's not where I want to be.
You're isolating everyone, but you're still training hard, or even that is starting to fade?
Even that is starting to fade. So I think this podcast is a blessing in disguise, man, because I can feel through the camera, I can feel, the adversity that you've been through, bro. I can feel that you've been through some similar stuff, and martial arts saved my life at one point,
that's
dude.
cool. What is it about mental health and then combats?
Right. You know what? I think it's like already wired in, because in order to go out there and fight, like, you have to have your mental health in order to not be nervous, stay focused, had done the work in order to get there, you know? So I think, like, with that, like, in order to build those three, the pillars to get to that is the mental health that you need to kind of conquer before getting to that stage. My personal opinion.
Yeah, bro, because when I went to, after my divorce, I was smoking mad cigarettes. I was going to festivals, just being a dumbass, right? So when I finally, like you, hit that rock bottom, and I decided, you know what, man, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna wake up, no smoking, nothing. And I made that decision. I went there for the first day, and I sparred, and I got my freaking ass kicked, And I think, with martial arts and mental health, they go hand in hand, because in order to be a martial artist, you have to be willing to go through pain, whether it be mental, whether it be physical. You have to be willing to go through the pain of training, of getting punched in the face, getting knocked out, and still, and
want to do it again.
Yeah, silencing your ego when you fight a better fighter and he kicks your ass, learning how to, okay, I lost that. He's better than me. I have to improve on this. It's like a constant, like, active process every single day of, okay, am I making the right decision? Am I working out? Am I not smoking? So in order to become in order to become a good, solid martial artist, you have to be constantly improving your mindset, whether it be journaling, whether it be waking up on time, whether it be showing up to work, etc. I apologize for the ramble, but
no. I'm feeling it a lot, because it's leading to a question. I think you said for 2 years now. Was that your honeymoon period? Was it 2 years and before you started to see this trouble that you're having now?
Yeah, you know what? It was 2 years, and then I went through something, survived a suicide attempt, busted my ass even more, and even Jarizi helped me for my fight. I had my first amateur fight, won that, I was like, I was on cloud 9. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna be a pro kickboxer, blah 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 blah.
Won by TKO.
Yeah, won by TKO. Lost the next fight, bro. Cried and just went back to all my bad habits, dude. Straight up. Okay. And
so that's what threw you back. Was it a loss? Just a loss?
The loss, bad girlfriend, just everything just went downhill. So now I'm climbing back up. Things are going better, but that was the kicker. That's what got me back into bad habits. So,
well, hey man, at least it's not. It sucks, but at least it's not like you fell off. Start drinking again, or drugs that got you. It could always be worse, I guess. And that's another thing. I try to find, if there's any bright side whatsoever to anything nowadays, I try to find it. And it starts to annoy everyone around me. Every time, like, somebody's complaining, I always hit them with, but it could be.
You hit them with a parable quote?
I hate the complaining now. And I catch myself too. If I complain unconsciously or subconsciously out loud, I'll immediately like call myself out, or I'll just be like, quit bitching, Chris.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah,
does that, Chris, does that come from AA? I mean, I think one of the
I haven't done AA. I think I tried it in the military, at a VA once, but I went through a program. I finished a year-long program called I Am a Comeback, and it's not really like an AA. It's more just for like alcohol, abuse or alcohol alcoholics, and kind of it's a real alpha male type thing that I just happened to stumble across, and it was expensive, and I told myself, if I'm going to spend this money, maybe, if it's expensive, maybe I'll really take it serious type of thing. So I just stuck with it, and that's kind of what helped me as far as, an AA or a support group type thing. But really, man, it was just the isolation of being stuck at home with this thing and with nothing to think about other than how mad and ashamed I was at myself, man. I love my kids, dude, so much, like more than myself or anything. And to think that I was driving impaired, like drinking and driving with my 2-year-old daughter in the car, man. I'll cry if I go any deeper than that, and I hate crying. So, but I mean, you can imagine, like, I hated myself, man. Yeah, I hated myself, and it's taken a while to love myself and totally change the way I think.
One thing I said on the podcast earlier, back when we first started, was rock bottom. I feel like it's a really potent place to be in.
Yeah,
because it's you either stay there, or like I told Kyle before too, like for me, that's the best place to plant your roots and plant your seeds, man. Because if your roots are grounded all the way down to rock bottom, then nothing can really shake you. You know what I mean?
True, man. That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah. So for me, like I told Kyle too, like sometimes when life is good, I try to get back into rock bottom Jarizi, you know what I mean? Because it's
scary.
Yeah, man. Like
you're waiting
that version of you that like decided, no, I'm gonna change my life. Like that version of you can
strong.
Yeah, man. You could do anything with that version of you. But what comes with that version of you is, you get the successes of that, and then you become a different version of you that kind of basks in the success. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I was asking him if it was the 2-year mark for him, because I'm coming up close, right? A year and a half. So I have felt it, and I'll tell you, I felt the slowness, the declineness of everything that's been happening with me. But what always gives me another jolt, and each time it's stronger, is those messages from like TikTok and Instagram, where somebody will have to spend 10 minutes sending these long texts or messages and telling me how, like, just saying nice things. It's weird to repeat it because I'm nobody. I'm the one that always reaching out to other people saying help me, or how do you do this, how do you do that, and to hear it, especially like boxing advice, it's cool, and that always comes from the younger groups on TikTok. But that in itself, man, it tickles me, and and then when people who know boxing and know martial arts start to really say, "Hey, man, I've kind of been peeping you for the past couple of months, and I've really noticed you improved a lot." That right there in itself, like, damn, for the next month now, I'm gonna be good. I'm riding that high. So that's what I just want to keep improving, because if I stop doing it, I don't see what's going to keep me focused like I am now. Whenever this ankle monitor comes off, and I could go to the liquor store and drink without the fear of going to jail. And I don't want to. I don't think that would happen, but this isn't the first rodeo. This is the second time, so it's happened before.
I think it's pretty clear that modern men are struggling a lot right now with mental health, and I think what martial arts does for men is it allows us to express our inherent violence and angst for the world, or whatever resentments that we have. and it gives us an outlet to just explode on the bag, you know, in a safe, confined space. You know what I mean? Because when I find myself even just shadow boxing, when I'm watching too much TV, you know, on this bed, and I'm just laying there, I'll realize, oh man, like I'm kind of stiff. I'm just gonna get up, and then I'll get up. And shadow boxing is like, you know, but just part of like my daily life. So I'll get up and I'll shadow box, and then I'll start feeling like all of that angst is gone from the day, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'll just shadow box for 10 more minutes, blah, 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 blah. And that energy just dissipates, you know, that stress dissipates. But even more in a bag, bro, on a bag, it's just, oh man, I'll think about all my exes and just kick the shit out of it.
It's great. It's great.
Stupid horse.
But that's true though, because like guys have a lot of pent up energy. Like, I mean,
hell yeah,
dude. I mean, you shake a can of soda, that shit fizzles up, and once you open it, it's gonna fucking blow up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You see someone get cut off on the freeway, I've seen people get hella pissed, man. Like, if this is out in the streets, like it's probably a body, you know what I mean? But that person drove all the way home, contained that energy, probably has to take care of their kids. It might blow up when the kid steps on a kid's Lego, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I feel like, like you said, Kyle, it gives them an outlet to
which in turn helps you control your anger in those moments, you know, like where you have to stay calm. Because I've noticed that I've gotten so much better, you know, with patience and especially, controlling the anger, because in the back of my head, I know, okay, just wait till I got a heavy bag. This, this, I'll just save this.
Let me just take a picture of you real quick, bro.
Bite your tongue.
It's funny because like the mental health and the martial arts, like I said, they're kind of synonymous. And like Kyle said, taking a loss, like that's always going to be a thing. You know what I mean? And I think just being humbled in the sport translates into a lot of aspects for your life. So does the discipline too, which, I mean, I don't need to go into the other benefits that come with that in other aspects of your life, but it kind of cascades and domino effects into into an overall pie chart of skills to be able to navigate the hurdles in life. You know what I mean? Being humbled, like what I did jujitsu at a time where I started a new job and the job was kind of challenging to me. That made me nervous. You know what I mean? So I told myself, man, I'm just going to immerse myself in jujitsu, because if I'm able to be cool getting choked out by some killers, then what is this person going to how is this person going to strike fear in me? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so, but just being humbled, I feel like is beneficial in anything that you do.
I think that's it seems to be more, the popularity of that thing is starting to rise. Like it's no longer, it's not as cool to just straight up be already a badass online, like something that some of these young kids or people who are out of shape have no chance of being, you know, like overnight or anything like that. There's not enough of people being, you know, showing their embarrassing sparring footages and showing that, hey, I realize I suck at boxing, but I'm just now starting. This is what it looks like to start. You know, there's not those journeys. There's not enough of them. And I think, people who embrace that feeling of saying, I know I'm not good. I know I'm not that fast. I know I'm not that strong. And being, you know, okay with being 100 with who you are and where you're at. People dig that, I think.
Man, have you heard of Sylvie Muay Thai?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, she's the one. That's her name, right, Kyle?
Sylvie E2 Douglas. Yeah.
Sylvie E2 Douglas, yeah. She's the one person that comes to my mind as far as tracking her journey. And I feel like her audience was, you know, kind of along the ride with her throughout that journey, saw her growth from training in the fucking basement to well, she won a fucking WBC title just recently. That's
crazy.
Right? So
she has 200 plus fights. She got 200 plus fights, man. I watched her from the beginning where she was in that basement with her Thai grandpa or whatever, and
Master Tanner or something.
she was like whatever. Her technique was like mediocre, you know, and now she's like this seasoned American Thai fighter in Thailand. Everybody knows her. She's famous. It's like, what?
Wow.
She can emulate like any style she wants to, learn from the best. But yeah, I mean, like just most of the time people like content creators, they don't want to put that stuff out there. You know, everything needs to go through a bunch of editing phases before it's already put out there, instead of just seeing like an organic.
Or
growth,
whenever
right?
you start to improve and it shows, like anybody who's doing something like that, like obviously a year ago, you're not going to look as good as you do now, and you would go back and delete those because people were like, "Hey man, why do you still have this posted on here? This is horrible." And I've like that's where I started. Right? I wanted everyone to see, because that was only a year ago. When people say that I'm not that good, I could say, well, okay, look where I was a year ago. If you think I'm not good now, look how bad I was, then.
Right.
And obviously, with age, you stop really caring what somebody thinks about those things. Like I don't care if they think I'm good. It's not like I'm going to try to be a professional boxer. You know what I'm saying? Like it was something that and going back to it being hand in hand with mental awareness, I got lucky with that, man. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. I liked boxing, and I just needed anything that was going to keep my mind busy. And when I say busy, I mean busy, like 24/7. Like, I mean, and with the internet nowadays, you could teach yourself anything. Imagine having a laptop in prison. And unlimited access, you could learn a lot.
Yeah, shout out to MMA Shredded. He was on the podcast recently. That guy, I learned a lot of fucking tools from that guy, man.
MMA Shredded.
Yeah, he kind of sparked actually my training journey. So shout out to him. Shout out to the internet. And I feel like with boxing, I mean, I say this all the time on the podcast. I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but if you do anything good for you, for like even for a bad reason, you're going to get the benefits of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's kind of for me when I started boxing. I wanted to get in shape, but I didn't know the discipline of like, I valued running at like 3 a.m. out when people were asleep more than partying. Like when I got really into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I hope I don't fall out of that, but that now is my golden time, like, because I don't know if you guys have kids yet, but little young ones they need your time 24/7. So that quiet alone time, I got to learn to love to run just for that time, pure quietness, time to think and reflect and stuff. And then you slowly stop realizing that your legs are hurting or you're out of breath. It's like I just want to get out.
Chris, what's your routine when you wake up, man?
Man, as far as times go, it always varies, because I may have to wake up with my daughter or my fiance, but it's always run in the morning to my store, which is like 2 miles, or no, it's like a mile, a little over a mile from the house. And I'll run there, get coffee, I'll get the girls something, and then I'll run back home and then get started with work, which, like I said, I work from home. I work here in this office on the computer. Most of the time during the day, usually around my lunchtime, I try to go down to the basement for an hour. It's something different every day. I may just see a workout that I found on the gram or YouTube or something, and I'll go practice that. I'll just pick out one thing to practice a day. And then after I get done working, it's daddy time, and I try to do anything with my daughter, whether it's take her to the park, and while we're at the park, I'm working on my footwork. I'm shadow boxing, but I'm also getting her involved too. Like even just like yesterday, I was pushing her on the swing, and I was thinking like, man, I can work my hip rotations while I'm pushing her swing. So there's just ample opportunity for me to improve at it. And I, like I said, I don't even know why I'm doing it. It's not like I'm going to be a professional boxer, but I do want to have an amateur fight like you, man. Like, you're not young, super young. Did anybody tell you, hey, why are you doing this at your age?
No, no, because for Muay Thai, for kickboxing, there's a lot of people that travel to Thailand in like their 50s to try Muay Thai
really?
for the first time. Yeah, so it's like the mecca of kickboxing or whatever. But
yeah,
for Muay Thai, like there's not really that judgment of unless you're going to compete, right? People question you. You're 40, you're like 5'10", and you're Asian. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Let's be real. But as a hobby, no, I don't think anybody.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean it as a hobby because that's kind of how I looked at it. Like I will do it forever as like for my own personal thing, not to compete or to like be professional or anything. But I do want to have that. Like I said, I do want to have some amateur fights because I want to experience that. I haven't, I've only got to spar a handful of times ever.
Yeah. To address what you were saying, sorry to interrupt you, man, but
okay.
you were saying I forgot what you said.
Come on, man, you interrupted him.
yeah. Go, it'll come back to me, bro. Go ahead. My bad.
Wait, I'll interrupt. Hey, Chris, you had a fight book, right? On TikTok?
I did, man.
Dude, I was excited to see that, man.
I don't know if you know who the opponent. I don't know if you know much about it, Jimmy Mooney.
I went to his page just to see what's going on with him. I didn't. He seemed more like a comedy page, right?
Yeah, he's like an actor, and I respect the dude. But if you spend enough time, like following him, or if you dig into it, it's very quick and evident. You'll see that he does. Whenever I was telling people, hey, yeah, we just signed a contract, we're fighting. All the people that he did that before me was telling me that the fight's not going to happen, man. The fight's not going to happen. So what had originally called it off is that he had kept up in the ante. He's like, okay, now, and I'll sign I'll show up for sure if you put down $2,000. It just kept escalating, and finally I just got done playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they keep pushing my court date back, so I don't really want to try to schedule a fight until I can get this briefcase off my leg.
Man, you know what's cool too? We touched on the pros and cons of social media is the landscape for boxing right now and social media. Like, that's one way to just shortcut into one, a good marquee fight, but two, like a huge payday, man.
Yeah, like the Misfits boxing and stuff like that. Like, man, that's something that I would seriously work towards and do. If my social media was to grow big enough. But what's crazy, man, I'm not the type that likes to say anything about cool things that are happening. I don't ever want to come across braggadocious or anything like, because I always feel like I don't deserve the things that I have. I'm constantly telling, because I work at home and my little one's here, she's too little to be in school and stuff. Like, I have to keep my door shut. I have to ask somebody, hey, can you keep her out? So I take my job so seriously because I make good money and I feel like I don't deserve it. So I'm always, I always want to work really hard because I feel undeserving of these things. So I say that prefacing that I don't like to sound like I'm bragging about anything because that's not the type of person I am. But just with the way the account has grown so far and just the sheer luck with the Tony Jeffries thing, and I've actually gotten to communicate and came in contact and kind of on a regular basis talk to some real key big name people that will have the avenue or the plug to get me where I may possibly want to be, depending on my skill set, how it, if it keeps to improve. Like I said, Misfits boxing and those type of things. Like,
hell yeah,
I have like these little plugs that are opening up for things like that. And another reason why to keep improving every day.
all you need is just one slick knockout on the undercard, man. You move on up, and you're in the salt poppy fight, baby.
Man, I tell you, something crazy like that happening is just enough to where, if somebody wasn't really, there's a lot of people who will cut the camera on and just train for the camera and then cut it off, and then they'll be like, yeah, I'll be training. But somebody like that, could catch on, and then now they have this huge following. It's like, oh shit, now I better start working out because, everybody's watching.
Right.
So, that lucky break, if you have the right mentality, could be a good thing because it could actually change you to what you're pretending to be. Yeah.
Man, I feel like the Misfits boxing is just the beginning. I mean, we're seeing like these, was it street beefs?
It's becoming low-key, more sophisticated.
Yeah, low key kind of, I feel like, I don't know if they're getting more funding, but I feel like they're upping their quality little by little,
I've noticed that too.
Sure. So I know they do full MMA. Sometimes they do boxing.
Mm-hmm.
One kind of goal that Kyle and I had was, because Cave kind of is the network. So out of networking with all the fighters that we've met and came across, possibly put on like a smoker, you know what I mean? Some kind of,
that would be sick.
Some kind of fight just to bring people together. Just whether it's like light sparring or full
Cave
on
promotion
exhibition. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that would be dope.
Yeah, I feel like
keep me in mind.
Yeah, I got you, bro. You might main event that one, so stay sharp.
No, man, y'all keep growing. You're gonna have way bigger people than me. That's for sure.
Bro, you gonna be big, man. I feel like the blessings are coming, dude. You're a very humble dude. You're very, I think
relatable too as a character, man. Like I feel just in this podcast, like comfortable right away. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. I was worried about that, man. But
yeah, I mean, I have a fucking mask on and shit.
But I did my.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I watched some of the podcasts beforehand.
Okay.
So I knew I was coming into, but it's like a bro atmosphere, this. Yeah. You feel more comfortable. So you guys do a great job at that. I mean, you guys.
Yeah. Try to capture that.
Sorry, man. Something that I see in you that, or based on your story and what I feel from you, through this camera, is, when you hit rock bottom, you're faced, or you're forced to really like reflect and take inventory of all of your flaws and all of your bad habits, and you're forced to just look at them like, okay. Mm-hmm. I'm a smoker. I have an addictive personality. I watch porn, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. Am I just gonna, continue living like this, or take inventory and slowly knock these things out?
Yeah,
and I think
that's a good point. Slowly knock these things out.
I see that in you, man. I see, because I completely relate to it. Like when you're at rock bottom, what are you gonna do? Like the only thing that you can do is take inventory of where you fucked up, every single thing that you're doing wrong, and you just gotta fix them one by one.
Yeah, and that teaches you so much. It's just a scary thing, man, because you don't want anybody who's truly hit rock bottom. You don't want to see anybody hit rock bottom. Mm-hmm. But if you find yourself in that circumstance, and you just you don't have a lot of choices. You got two choices, really. Yeah, I mean, there's always that option of taking the dirt now. I mean, can't nobody make you do anything. You can always just end it. But if you try, decide to like you said, take inventory and slowly, try to pick one thing and fix it, and take the next thing and fix it. It just teaches you that. It teaches you to identify the things that you don't like about yourself. And then you learn the tools to fix any of those things that you identify.
Exactly. Precisely. Yeah, man.
It's almost like a self-intervention.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Good way to put it, bro.
Yeah, man, it's like if you could only you're left there with nothing else, and it's like, fuck, there's no more distractions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You're faced. Like you said, there's alcoholics out there right now, and I know I got a bunch of them that are following me that will watch, or I shouldn't say alcoholics, but people who have issues with drinking. and they know they do. But you ignore it. You're in a phase where you're ignoring it, or you're pushing it to the back burner. I'll deal with this later. Right now is not time. Right now, I'm stressing. I got to drink. But like when rock bottom comes and knocking, you're faced with it. You can't push it back no further. And
that's when you go crazy sometimes. Where even if you drink it off, you're faced with it drunk. So it's like you get weird like experiences, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's when the dark shit happens.
Most likely you're gonna do something you will regret.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't. Looking back, I've always been a video type person. So going back and seeing some of the videos that I made as an alcoholic, it's so hard. It's so hard to look at because it's crazy how I couldn't see that that's what I was. And my mother, my family would tell me that, and I'm like, nah, man, nah, I'm not that bad. I could, And then it's so strange how, eventually you have this curtain over you and you can't see it. And it's hard when you do realize it and it's too late, or you feel like it's too late. Then you start, there's grown men reaching out to other, younger men or grown men saying, how do I do this? And then that's how difficult this shit is. And you want to try to not get there. My advice is obviously if you can, but if you do, man, I would just, like you said, give yourself that ultimatum. If, you gotta, I don't know. It's so hard because I don't want to say things that have been said a million times that kind of just go in one ear and out the other. So it's really, I don't really have the answers yet, man. I'm still so young in this thing and learning.
Still trying to figure it out too. Yeah. Still on the journey.
Talking with people like this, you start to, you learn, you have more realizations. You think about things you didn't before. Really cool.
One of our co-hosts, Jermaine, he makes fun of this podcast, calls it a therapy disguised as a podcast.
Hey, that's nothing wrong with that, bro. Yeah. Everybody I look up to does therapy and stuff. I wish I did. I mean, I would use this as therapy too.
Yeah, low key, like Kyle mentioned too. Like I feel like men, for a brief period, I feel like now it's kind of been. They poked a hole into the balloon as far as being able to air out and have a channel to express your mental health. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
the weird.
Back then, it was like you had to be this almost like alpha male. Everything's got to be in order, and if it's not, then it better be on the way to get in order, and don't trip about it.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Being able to talk and also even have like a community of people that just, hey man, I've been feeling like this. I feel like I'm the only one going through this. But like, nah, I've been there too.
Man.
You don't feel so alone going through.
Right. And that's the real thing, man. Going with sounding cliche, but man, things are cliche for a reason. It's like that people say those things for a reason. And that's one of them. It's real. It's real. It's how it is.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, one thing that always sounds cliche is like, when people say, hey, enjoy it because it's not going to last long,
Yeah.
And as much as you hear that at the moment, it does sound cliche. Like you said, one year out the other. But when everything is said and done, it's like, God damn, that shit was true. Yeah. So that's why those things get echoed, guys. It's because this shit is consistently true.
How do you, there are some, I've met some really young dudes, like teenagers, that seem to get it. Like they say, how you said you could pick up, like the vibe, the realness. There's something about someone who's being real, you can kind of tell rather than somebody who's just kind of repeating something that they heard, There's some of these young dudes, the way they talk, I'm like, man, he gets it. And I'm like, I don't know if they've been through some kind of trauma or they just was raised so well that they have a higher level of understanding than I definitely did, even at 20 years old. But yeah, man, the key, if there was a purpose outside of me and my family, it would be to somehow make it to where younger kids can realize this, whatever this is, that this mindset, this way of thinking, it's like something clicks, you know. If we could get it to them sooner, so, you know, they may, you know, it may save somebody's life. You never know.
And that's why I think all these content creators, especially like Andrew Tate, you know, I think that's why they're so popular, is because, you know, even though some of the stuff that he says is controversial, a lot of the self-improvement stuff that he discusses is really powerful, man.
Yeah,
you know,
and intelligent too.
Yeah, super intelligent. You know, he comes off a little brash and you know, flamboyant, but at the root of his messages, powerful, bro. You know, like he doesn't even believe depression is real. He's like, when you're depressed, it's an indication that you're doing something wrong in your life. And I'm like, that's kind of deep. I do have credit card debt. Damn, that could be causing my depression because
money.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, so, I like that mentality of whatever it is negative in your own life. Like, there's a way to fix it. There, you know, and troubleshooting as a data analyst, that's something that's into it too. Like, you know, I start to realize things that, like, oh, that's why, you know, I can do this good, or, you know, things just starting, the troubleshooting mentality, like finding the problem and fixing it. I dig that. I like that. I think that's key. Finding out your problems.
Sometimes the solution is like right under your nose too.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
you discuss it with somebody or something.
Sorry, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, you can't see it until you maybe discuss it with somebody and they help shine light on it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also, I mean, for Andrew Tate, like, I feel like his message resonates more so to people that are on the path, you know, their journey, because it gives them, you know, that little bit of boost, a little bit of gusto that they need. You know how you said sometimes the good comments keep you going. Yeah, like hearing those little tidbits and sound bites, like, they keep you going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, dude.
I'm a big proponent of listening to, like, Motiversity and those.
Oh, Motiversity is dope.
Yeah, man.
So good. So good.
At least once a day, I'm listening to something like that. It's corny to some people, and my old lady hates it. But it's just, I think of it as they don't need it or they don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But to me, I
like
get
that. Yeah. That's what's up. And going back to what you said about what you do, where you kind of take like a weird perspective in order to flip it and make it positive, you know?
Yeah.
One thing I used to do back when I was going through like a murky time in my life was I had a specific journal that I would write. So it'd be like a 2-page thing, right? So on the first page, I would write what I was stressed out with and what I was dealing with. And then from there, I would read it. And then the second entry would be, okay, now let's rewrite this story from a positive perspective.
Yeah.
And just rewiring and having your imagination start kind of gunning that direction.
Yeah. That's good,
dude.
bro.
Cascades into a lot of things, man. So, I mean, that's kind of what you do, but I just had to write it down. You know what I mean?
That's brilliant, man. What the heck?
I've heard from everybody that the whole journal thing is the way to go. Like, and I guess I kind of do it in my own way. I just don't like, you know, writing it. I feel it takes too much time. You know, I feel like I could do so much more if I was to just say it into a thing, or I don't know.
For sure. Yeah.
That's another thing too, man. Is just learning how to manage my time and feel like there's only so much time in a day, and the days go by so fast that if I'm stagnant for 10 minutes, I'm thinking like, oh, you know what I could have done in that 10 minutes, and I'm just sitting here, you know, not doing anything. You realize how quickly time goes by, and how much you can accomplish in 10 minutes too. That's another thing. Yeah. It's great to have a clear, sober mind. You know, that's what I'm getting at.
That's what's up, man.
How long you been sober for?
Oh man, September 7th, 2021. It's not been that long. I mean, a year and a half, I guess.
Pretty good, dude. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
So,
Hell yeah.
Again, I can't be, too, proud of it. I got this alcohol monitor on, man. The only thing I can say is, hey, I'm somebody who don't want to be in jail.
you know what that reminds me of? That kind of reminds me of Jerezy, because me and him are big Kobe fans. What did Kobe say in that one interview? It was during that championship, Jerezy. It was like they were asking him, why do you look so sad? He's like, is the job finished?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The job's not finished.
Yeah.
Well, what is there to be happy about? I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
"What, bro?"
High standards.
Yeah, that's a focused man too. I mean, like, you can't be celebrating before we even get there, which,
Yeah. And
like we said, people get caught up in sometimes when, I mean, for me personally, I had 2 fights too. I won the first one pretty convincingly.
He destroyed this fool. he made his face bleed, dude.
But see, what happened was I almost kind of rode that wave and didn't really train for the second one, So
got you.
You were feeling good.
yeah, I was feeling good
Yeah.
to the point where I was like, man, that feeling of, when you see your opponent, it's like, man, the harder work was already done. I feel like that's kind of the mentality to go into, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, what comes with that, and to get to that level, it's putting the work in, is exposing yourself to different sparring partners, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being able to be like, all right, I did really good against this guy. I need to kind of up the
Right.
challenge a little bit. And then when you do that, then you get to the fight and you get to get the parameters that you wanted, as
Right.
far as like, man, this guy's easy work. My homie was tougher than this guy, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I feel like that job's not done mentality, especially here in social media, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's fighters right now that have fought like professionally where some of their hype video probably gave them a little more of a dopamine rush than like the actual fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, or whatever they said in the press conference probably went viral, but they got knocked out in 2 seconds, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yikes.
So as far as the job's not done, you probably were satisfied with the virality of that clip, but did you pull through and win it?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I feel like takes a sober mind to stay focused, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not kind of get distracted by the praises that most of the time nobodies are giving you, you know what I mean? Like, these fools were not here shooting with me in the gym.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's what's up. And like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but yeah, going back to what we said, I feel like the devil plays in idle hands.
Right.
So keeping yourself busy, you know what I mean, keeps you away from just getting tempted.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this in any religious form. Like, I'm talking about like temptress, as far as a joker entity that's trying to deter you from your path. You know what I
The
mean?
trickster. Yeah.
The trickster. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
Yeah, sure.
But dude, you have fucking no reason to leave your place, man. Your setup looks like you have everything there. You should start.
Man.
You should start charging people to go over there, man.
Man, I tell you, it's hard. I've really gotten used to it, and I started working from home like when the pandemic hit. Like, they just kicked us out of hospitals because we can do all of our jobs from a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I just slowly but surely had to, keep making it as comfortable as I can to where I don't never have to leave my office.
Hey, so I work remotely too, man. How do you deal with the lack of separation between your home space and then workspace?
I
'Cause
don't know, man. I
when you-
sometimes want to go to work.
yeah, but I don't want to see anybody. But at the same
Right.
time, it's like I want to have.
I
that
want to get out of the
separate
house
space.
type thing.
Yeah, bro. How do you deal with that?
Man, I just, again, try to look at the bright side of it. Like, I'm so fortunate to be able to work from home that I should never find myself complaining about it.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause,
Hey,
man,
from someone who
you-
doesn't work from home, I'm jealous of you guys, man. Like, my wife works from home, and it's like, man, you don't know how good you guys are.
and that's why it's I would feel terrible if I ever complained about it.
Yeah.
But you have those things. It's just like, man, it sucks because like the line gets blurred. You know, like with my daughter, she doesn't know that I'm at work just because I'm in my room. But I'm like, I shouldn't even be here. You know, when she's, you know, just it's bad. And but again, the pros to that is being able to be here and not have to pay for a babysitter because, you know, she's here, her mother's watching her, or if it's really an emergency, and just open the door. You know.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, that makes a lot of things easier.
In between calls, hitting the heavy bag.
Yeah, man, and sometimes taking the laptop down there and just letting the like, you know, if I'm not on any calls, I'll just have the email popped up and just I'll be working out for an hour, 2 hours, depending on the day how it goes.
That's cool.
It's fun, man. It's not that I have anything to prove or anything like that, or it's just I enjoy it so much because I was able to use it to get past. I don't ever think about drinking or anything like that. The only time I'm thinking about it is to think about like, man, I can't believe I used to do this, you know?
Man,
for sure.
You got to that point, man. You transcended that urge. That's crazy.
That's why and to myself, in my mind, I know that, but until I get this monitor off,
that's a real test, right?
Yeah, I have to say that because, you know, my closest family, you know, this has happened before. You know, I said I'd never do it again, and it's happened. But I think there comes a time where you know that, okay, I've seen enough. You know, this has happened to me enough. I'm not letting it happen again.
Exactly.
And I think I've built the mindset to be prepared for it this time. So I know I'm good, but I won't say I'm good until it's off.
I just feel like I have to say this to you, man. I feel like right now is your training camp, and when that shit comes off, that's fight night, bro.
I'll look at it, bro. I swear.
Fucking go, dude.
I swear. I gotta be ready for when this comes off, man. And then it's go time.
Bro,
Yeah,
we should train your kickboxing so you can just kick that shit off, dude. Kick it into the bag.
Yeah. I would love to have it off.
It's funny because going back to martial arts and mental health, like I feel like it's almost like you trade one addiction for another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're more so addicted to the training and boxing now, which I mean, I feel like the only cons of that is being so immersed that when, like, you know, you're so focused on boxing that your family kind of takes the back seat now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's not really like that unless you get to the crazy elite levels. You know what I mean?
And you're traveling, you're not seeing them for months at a time. Yeah, for sure.
Bro, that's what I forgot to say. So in one of these articles that I wrote for a suicide hotline one time, I was teaching people how to, you know, use martial arts as a way to quit addiction, porn, whatever it is. And one of the things that I said was, you have to. This is when I was doing it, because right now I feel like a hypocrite because I'm not doing it. But it was something along the lines of, you need to replace your addiction with something of equal or more intensity than your addiction.
Yep.
Meaning, you know, let's say
fighting for your life.
Yeah, pretty much, bro.
Pretty much. You know, getting hit in the face.
Whatever addiction it is, you got to drop it and go for a hard run, you know, or take a cold shower. That's what the anti-porn community says. You know, whenever you feel an urge, do 50 push-ups. You know, do some squats, move the energy from that area, from that lower frequency. Yeah. Throughout the rest of your body. Take a cold shower, blah blah blah. So that's what I was gonna say. Not really relevant, but
no, it is. It fall right into what he said. You know, replacing it with boxing is anything. I guess you'd be fortunate. I thought boxing was just fun. You know, I didn't think about, you know, physically how good it is for you and stuff, and mentally I didn't think about all that, but I was fortunate that comes along. So if you're looking for something to replace an addiction with, you find something that's going to be beneficial for you, both physically and mentally, if you can.
Also, the runner's high, I feel like
it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
So
I mean,
good.
It's funny because when I started really running, you learn and you find out how many, ex-addicts are runners.
I didn't know that.
Really?
They're like addicted to running. Like they're out there like 5 a.m. type shit. You know what I mean? Trying to get that runner's high. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's what happened.
Which I mean, like road work is also interlaced with martial arts. You know what I mean? So you also get that leg onto the whole facets of just martial arts and being a martial artist. So it's crazy, man. I feel like martial arts back then used to be like exercise and yoga mixed. You know what I mean? And it got fragmented into just like Western self-defense and then Tai Chi. You know what I mean? But I feel like back then it all used to just be one whole way of living. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's pretty fucking crazy.
It
but
is wild, man.
Boxing, man. Let's get into boxing. Do you have a favorite boxer?
Man, I was thinking about it, this question and trying to decide an answer. But to be honest,
Pacquiao.
I love watching boxing so much, man, that I just, there's so many people that I enjoy watching. There's not anybody that I just like don't like. But I mean, just a couple of them would be some of the obvious ones. Canelo, Tank Davis. Tank Davis right now is one of my favorites. Man.
So efficient, man. That guy.
Yeah.
What do you think about him and Garcia? Who's gonna win?
See, that's the crazy thing. I 100% think Tank will win, but I like Ryan Garcia, man. Like, especially with his mental health thing going on, it's very relatable.
Absolutely.
But he's young. I don't think he just came, it's the wrong time for him. I mean, Tank's already right there where he wants to be and where he is going for sure. And this is just my opinion. But I think after he loses the Tank, he might not lose again.
I thought Rolly was doing pretty well against Tank during that fight. The thing about Tank is once he gets that shot, it's game over. You know what I mean? And I feel like he spends the whole fight just measuring and setting that shot up.
He's smart, man.
Which is crazy, yeah. And my favorite boxer is Floyd Mayweather. So him, I see him kind of like guiding his career. You know what I mean?
Right.
And doing a good job, like seasoned fighters under his belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Without this name that Ryan Garcia has, this fight wouldn't happen. Or it would have happened earlier too, you know what I mean, as a build-up. But because of the name, like, and I feel like that's kind of Mayweather's. You know what he did with the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, kind of straight.
It's all business, bro.
It is
smart, man. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that like boxing is probably like the highest paid sport, right? As far as like per minute or per second, that you can make.
I don't know that.
I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but
I never even thought about that as far as like per minute that you play.
I think that was a fact when Floyd Mayweather was fighting because his paydays were crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, even then, like a fighter, a boxer who's been fighting 3 years compared to an MMA fighter who's been fighting 3 years, like that boxer. Probably making quadruple whatever the MMA guy is making, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, for me it's Mayweather. Kyle, Pacquiao?
Yeah, I'd say Pacquiao for sure, bro.
Not
even just because he's Filipino, but now that I understand striking a little bit, I understand why he was so great, dude.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Southpaw.
Makes me, I mean, watching these dudes like it, I mean, make you see these different styles, and whenever you don't have a coach and you don't have the traditional way of learning boxing, you just try to emulate your favorite boxers, and like that's kind of how I bounce through. Do I want to be Mayweather shoulder roll? Do I want to be high guard Canelo? And you start trying all these different things, and then I'm slowly starting to figure out like how what works best for me.
Right.
That's why I love just boxing in general, because there's so many different fighters, different styles, and it's like styles make fights. It makes it exciting, and yeah, I could just watch anybody boxing. I wouldn't even have to know who they are.
So let's talk about a controversial fight. Canelo Triple G, the first one.
Oh,
How'd you guys score that one? Because I'm a big Canelo fan. No disrespect to Triple G. I respect Triple G and what he's accomplished. But like I said, I'm a Mayweather fan, so I really pay attention to like the CompuBox scores, your accuracy, because Mayweather's bread and butter was making you miss.
mhm.
And he would beat fighters like 80% accuracy to like 13%. You know what I mean?
God
Yeah.
damn.
Crazy
It's
numbers.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I feel like Canelo edged him as far as like the efficiency of the numbers,
Right.
What did you guys think?
I don't remember.
The first one, I watched, but I didn't watch as much as I watched the second one. I only watched the third one just once, but
Third one was terrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
The second one, man, I've heard so many good points from both sides, but I have to say Canelo, man, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick, the first one is more. If I had to choose Triple G to win in one of them, it would probably be that one, the first one. But
Yeah, that was probably the closest one, right?
Yeah. But man,
Yeah,
it was fun. Like watching Canelo fight Floyd. I just watched that one either the night before or last, and how young he was and
Yeah.
the difference in his movements. You can see how much just seasoned he is now. Like some of the
Yeah,
mistakes
man.
he was making.
He's
They
definitely
aren't-
learned.
Yeah,
Yep.
you don't even. I wouldn't even have noticed it if I hadn't watched him fight. Like these past couple of years and how much he's changed. But
It's crazy
Crazy.
seeing that side of Canelo, because like you see in the 9th round, he's like, I gotta knock this guy out, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so behind on the scorecard, and Floyd's just smiling at him like this.
yeah, just so methodical, so smart with it too, man.
Yeah, man. I remember
hate
hearing an
that.
interview with Andre Berto where he said, like, dude, everything Floyd does is like has a deep reason why. Like, he'll clinch you, and when he clinches you, he'll take hella deep breaths because he's trying to catch breaks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'll like move around the ring more so to study your patterns and how you move, laterally forward.
Mm-hmm.
Give you some feints just to see how you react to certain ones, and then from there, the typical Floyd Mayweather fight. He gathers intel, and by the 4th round, you're figured out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Pull,
And
counter.
he's not really losing those rounds as he's evaluating you either, because he's so elusive. Like
Yeah.
he's still winning those fights that he's testing you out, trying to see where he can be offensive. It's great. I love that too. But a lot of people, say he's a runner, not. But I mean, that's the art of that's the sweet science.
You mentioned Canelo throughout the years, and I think what I find addicting about striking is like watching your own evolution in the mirror. I find that addicting, dude. Like when I
Yeah.
see like the fluidity and the range that I have in my arms when I practice more, use weights, that is so addicting, bro.
It is, man.
And I think that's why some of these fighters just end up going the distance, because they're just like, wow, I'm good at this. I'm seeing the progress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm beating people up. Let's keep going. It's so addicting, bro. Seeing that progress within yourself.
Yeah, you start to enjoy the grind whenever you know that there's progress behind it because you've seen it. Yeah,
Yes.
you're more amped up about going to put some work in. It never seems like work to me, man. Hitting a bag and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Once you get used, once you're in shape, like the road work and stuff, there's times where it sucks, but overall, that's just regular stuff. But the actual training, if you love it, it's not work. You know what I'm saying?
No,
That's I like, as far as going to my gym, it's not a boxing gym, but I had my sparring dude. He would come pick me up and take me. I would have to like ask, hey, is it cool if I go spar? Like, rather than seeing it as a workout, I'm like, man, I get to go spar today. Oh hell yeah! Or I get to go. It's something that's just, man, it's fun.
Man, some grown man, me too. I drive like an hour just to get choked out by some killers, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who does that shit?
Yeah, that's wild.
That's the thing too. I wanted to kind of close like the martial arts conversation, and like you said about the mentality. What is that? I feel like it takes a crazy person to take martial arts serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To first of all want to be exposed to combat. You know what I mean? Be comfortable with the combat. But see, that's the underlying thing. It's more so just being comfortable with chaos. You know what I mean? Because you on the service level, it's, you know, oh, you fight, you want to get fucked up. Yeah. But then people don't talk about, oh, what about the mental health of being courageous enough to go out there and be vulnerable to another person who's training to fuck you up. You know what I mean? It's literally you're testing your skills, and then all the bullshit that has to come through with that. Like, I know some people have families, some people don't have cars to get to train. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. So it takes a crazy person to do all that work just to.
Yeah, it really does. It's like find something easier to do. You know, like, nah, I don't want to do nothing else. Yeah. I could be doing a lot of different stuff, man, but it's just me, right? What I'm on right now, and it sounds like when I meet people like y'all that say the same thing, kind of echoing it. It's I think it's what I want to do, you know, forever.
Hell yeah, man. Do you have a favorite workout or like favorite routine? Like, you know, some days you're tired, you went through a long day, but you're gonna keep that. I gotta do something. What's your go-to, you know, minimal workout that I love to do that doesn't feel like workout?
The easiest one, man, is the rebound. It's over there, the head ball that you just try to hit, the reflex ball. Because I can sit here on the couch. I have a stand up desk there. Sometimes I do that, but it's that and the double end bag, or just here recently, I'll put my striking pad with some bungee cords up on the door frame, and I'll just practice like just rotating the hips and making solid contact. Just something easy to where I don't have to go, you know, lace up and like, you know, get all crazy up, but just those things that are something that you could do anywhere are my favorite. Shadow boxing is definitely one of them. You can do that anywhere.
Yep. Yeah, I used to use that little head ball thing. Man, that thing is really good for your jab, man. I have to say, like, my jab reflexes of closing somebody when they enter my space is so quick because of that shit.
Bounce back fast.
Plus, you can do the double end bag too, so that for your straight. That's sick, man.
It's fun, man. I love it. I think it's something that I don't know if it's because of Jake Paul and the social media, but I think boxing in general just keeps getting more popular. May be moving away from more traditional, but still in general, you know, people putting on gloves and boxing, it seems like it's just getting a lot more popular.
Yeah, I feel like for sure. I feel like that might be due to the UFC, man. Yeah, because boxing was kind of falling off, and I think
it definitely was going on.
When I go to these commercial martial arts gyms now, there's people up the yin yang, bro, just signed up trying to be fighters, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, you never know who's a fighter nowadays,
right?
You know,
it's like, and that's another reason to be respectful. I think about that too, man. Like, you know, people out there don't, and once you start learning how to fight is when you don't want to fight no more. Like, I don't look for trouble. I don't look to. I want to show somebody I can beat their ass if I want to. It's not like that. And then you start thinking, what if that person trains like I do? Like, what if he trains more than I do?
Right.
You just you respect everybody, and you know you don't have to stress like that. It teaches you again. Teaches you.
So let's recap kind of boxing's timeline. Chime in whenever you guys want. I feel like it was super hot around, you know, the Mayweather-Pacquiao days, right? Before they even fought. And then the UFC kind of started coming up with Conor McGregor. And then to combat that, they finally shot the Floyd Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, right? That was the big kaboom of boxing. And I feel like that was kind of their grand finale because Mayweather retired. And then I feel like it shifted towards the UFC because Conor McGregor was the one coming up.
Yes.
And then I think what brought the focus back into boxing was Mayweather and McGregor. Because that kind of started this circus of exhibition fights, right?
Yeah.
Which
fights coming out.
Then Logan Paul started it, and then now Jake Paul is doing it. So, I mean, I read this article too about boxing, about it's not a bad thing if you love boxing that all these, the Misfit productions are coming out. And like we mentioned earlier, like it's an outlet for people like us, you know what I mean? To get some exposure and to show the world what we could do.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, no one would have ever heard of Salt Poppy or seen what he could do in the boxing ring if it wasn't for Misfits, or even Jake Paul. You know what I mean?
They're not taken away from these professional boxers,
right?
Like, if anything, it's
it's because of you I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the professional boxers are now turning to start doing more social media because they see that makes a big difference. But that's coming up. Like, I think a lot of the young professional boxers, you see them on social media.
Yeah.
That's how it'll be.
That's the thing they said that was causing the beef between the traditional professional boxing and the Misfits, kind of new age boxing, is that they feel like they're kind of taken away from their basket now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we mentioned this on a previous podcast too, about when something grows big enough, it ends up becoming too big to where you can't really micromanage a lot of the things that happen. You know what I mean? You're going to get some of those cringe takes. Yeah. You get some people that, oh man, Jake Paul's the best boxer. You know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly.
And as much as cringe as it is, like, you have to appreciate that this person would have never been in my gym. I wouldn't have gotten this experience of sparring this guy and learning that, hey, this guy's a good overhand. I need to watch out for it. If it wasn't for Jake Paul sparring, his interest to come into the boxing, or maybe like you met him and you end up becoming best friends with him. You guys are great sparring partners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just the overall exposure, it brings in a lot of people that you might not be used to. You know what I mean? That's kind of the pros and cons of exploding something to a mass level.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of different characters and people out there, man.
Yeah, true, man. True. The bigger the audience, the more crazy people there are.
Yeah. It is crazy though, because like when the Mayweather fights, like I think it was the Maidana one, the second one to be exact.
Did he win? I thought Maidana won.
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you a funny story, guys. The first Maidana fight, I'm such a Floyd fan. I put a lot of money on his fights, even though I win like $1. You know what I mean? Just to be like, I rock with you, Floyd.
Like, yeah, dog, we knew he was going to win.
Floyd for life. Money team.
But dog, I put like most of my savings on Floyd.
Your savings?
On the fucking Maidana fight, the first one. Bro, I was sweating bullets during that decision.
Hey, did he lose? I think Floyd lost, bro. Let's be real.
Nah, bro, Floyd's undefeated, dog.
It's the only fight. That's the only fight I think he might have lost.
But that one was a scary one. I don't know if you've seen it, Chris. The Maidana one.
Yep.
Jesus. Yeah. That was a close one, man.
It was. I don't know what the
that was Maidana, bro.
Do you know what the actual scores were?
Yeah, let's look that up.
Look it up.
But man, what a tough one. I'm gonna have to watch that one again. I'm starting to remember it now.
I know Maidana lost the second one for sure.
Oh, he made the adjustments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let's see. First one. It was Maidana 22% and Mayweather 45%.
Oh yeah. Bastard. It looked closer.
Yeah. But I mean, Maidana threw like 1,000 punches around too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
So I don't know, man. That one was scary. I feel like I think the Castillo fight, people thought that he won that fight too. If you watch the Zab Judah fight, people think that Zab Judah beat Floyd Mayweather too, because there was a controversial part in that fight. If you haven't seen it, Kyle, Floyd takes a good left hand. He gets dropped, right, Chris? Do you see that one?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't. They call it a trip instead of a knockdown.
Yeah.
From Zab?
Yeah, Zab Judah knocked Floyd Mayweather down. Like he put his glove down, like kind of stumbled.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But bro, something happened. I think Zab Judah started talking shit with Jeff. Is it Jeff Mayweather? His coach at the time?
Yeah.
And then the coach came in and they started fighting, dude.
Like
so,
fist fighting?
Yeah, like it was
nice.
I think they got suspended too because they got in a fight in the ring. So they had to clear it out. And Mayweather, I mean, now they would kind of just disqualify both fighters, you know. But I don't know. I think Mayweather needed that win, so
you got it. Bro.
Yeah, he talked to the ref, and they just resumed the fight and ended up winning. But yeah, that's another fight that I feel like people thought that he lost. But other than that, man, that's why like it's different watching fights on mute. You know what I mean? When you're really trying to break down to see who's winning and what they're doing, than it is when you're hearing the crowd going crazy.
Right. Or
I mean, Kyle, you know, as a fucking Pacquiao fan, like, dude, Chris, we're Filipino, so when Pacquiao fights, it's a whole fucking festival, right?
It's a celebration, dog. It's like a neighborhood gathering, bro. It's
dude, yeah, to say the least, man.
That's
and when he fights Floyd, you know, they go crazy over the barrage of punches that aren't landing, so you kind of have to just tune that out and watch the fight.
Exactly.
They weren't landing.
But man, like if you're watching that live and you're a judge, where we could get into this too, where most of the judges, I doubt their credibility in the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it is like you said, watching it and listening to the crowd, it can be, and depending on how far away you are, like as a judge, some of them punches are coming so fast you don't know which ones are being blocked. I don't know, but I seen this new AI boxing thing. Have you guys seen that? The AI tracking? Like, I guess they're gonna be able to do a lot better as far as the accuracy, like with AI tracking the hits and stuff.
Oh wow! I would trust that more. The judges, to be honest.
Yeah, because the judges, I mean, when somebody's 45-0 and their perfect records on the line, you want the pressure on you to be like, nah, I'm the one that gave him the loss because it's my score. Nah.
That one judge.
I don't want that death threat. Yeah.
For real.
you might just call it just because, you never know.
I wonder if there's regulation on the judges betting, because you know how the UFC kind of put a regulation on the fighters and coaches betting on the sport now?
Yeah.
That would be something worth looking into. I mean, that would. I know it's bullshit, man. Because if you're a gambler too, and you look at the odds and some of these controversial decisions, like it's too consistently sus, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and people will flat out call it this fraud, just fraudulent.
Yeah,
but still, I just enjoy it for the fights. I mean, the records and stuff, that shit don't really matter to me. I know it does to them, but to a fan of boxing, not just a fan of an individual boxer, I don't care about the record. I'm crazy. I can't wait to see some of these fights, man, lined up. I want to see Caleb Plant fight again so bad.
Oh yeah, man.
Devin Haney,
and Loma, and all the big names.
Oh, I can't believe Loma lost against Teofimo.
I know, that's great. And then once he did, I was like, okay, maybe this is the next best thing. And then find out he's a crazy nut job. I don't know. I should say that.
And then Teofimo lost against, what's his name?
Yeah, he did.
The Australian
guy. Yeah.
Kambosos, right?
Yeah, Kambosos.
Yeah. Man, yeah, it's cool though when you see like a fighter like Loma lose, because it kind of breaks it shatters their like elite image to open them up to more like fun fights. You know what I mean? They kind of get back up there instead of picking fights in order to make money fights. You kind of have to redeem yourself. You know what I mean?
True. I was a big Loma fan, man, and then whenever I got to know more about boxing, and then the individual boxers, like with Tank, like I've been on the Rise podcast, which is Gervonta's coach Calvin. Like they have their own podcast.
Really?
Hell yeah.
And I was not on it like a guest like you guys, but they brought me in from the chat, like out of nowhere. And you like, I have the video. It's on my account, so you see it. And like it put me on the spot to try to tell him why. I was like, yo, I've been following you guys. I love Tank's story because his story is amazing. Coach Calvin's story is even amazing, man. He was in prison and he's just changed. I mean, it was so cool for them to bring me on it, and the way they talked to me, that I really started to follow them hardcore. And then as I did, I got to learn like who they don't like and why they don't like certain people, and it kind of started to not really persuade me, but make me kind of second guess. Like, okay, do I like this person? And you know, because when somebody that you like in turn likes you, that makes you like them even more. Like
for sure.
Like with Tony Jeffries, I think he'll be one of the best online boxing coaches, trainers. Like just because I'm biased, I guess. There's a lot of great ones out there, but you know, you get that. But yeah, I'm still a fan of Loma, even though
those angles, man.
That's what it is.
That loss doesn't take away from how artistic he views the sport of boxing.
Yeah, it's very elegant. But he's not a banger. He's not a heavy hitter. But you know, that doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to like him.
What's cool about the different styles of fighting is if you don't have power, like that's not the only avenue for you. You know what I mean? There's other ways to succeed as a boxer and to succeed looking like an elite fighter. You know what I mean? Like no one is. I mean, there's always trolls that are gonna come after you after a loss, but you know the people who know what's up, and they see that the skill, and the hard work that Loma's paid off. I mean, no one's. What's he doing? He does a lot of cross training, right? Like dances and like does a lot of fucking coordination shit.
He did Ukrainian dancing when he was a kid. His dad put him into like traditional Ukrainian dancing just for his footwork.
Games and stuff.
That fucking paid off, man. We could all see it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. Do you guys have a favorite fight boxing match? I have one. I'll say it. I'll share mine right away. Have you guys seen? Is it Timothy Bradley versus Ruslan Provodnikov?
No.
Oh man, please watch that fight after.
Okay.
That is, dude. It's Rock'em Sock'em Robots, man. They just go at it.
You know who's fucking good, dude? The Japanese guy, Inoue.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing
that guy's clean, man. That guy's clean.
His stuff flourishing on YouTube a lot, and I caught on to it. Crazy.
Yeah, he's clean, dude. Sharp, powerful. God damn, dude, scary.
Was he the monster?
The monster, they call him the monster.
He's a monster.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite boxing fight. I like watching some of the ones that I watched more than once is like Canelo and Caleb Plant one. A lot of the Floyd ones over again. I was actually when I was in high school, I got taken to Oscar De La Hoya Mayorga fight in Vegas.
What?
Oh shit!
And it was so crazy because I didn't know at the time, you know, how much that I was going to look back and be like, man, this is so. I knew it was cool at the time, but you know, I wasn't deep into boxing as I was. So that was cool, right? I was back when De La Hoya was still active. 2005, I think.
Yeah.
2004, 2005.
Mayorga, man, that guy's total heel.
Yeah.
That guy's funny. What's yours, Kyle? You got a favorite boxing match? Pacquiao Margarito.
That's an easy one. I'd say Mayweather versus Cotto.
Oh man, what a fucking masterclass that fight was.
Yeah, dude. Miguel Cotto is so underrated, bro.
He is.
He looks tough, man.
Yeah, he looks tough. Yeah, he's got that grit, bro. That like gangster grit.
Yeah.
Persona, you know.
I think
he's a gentleman.
People stopped paying attention to him after the Canelo fight.
Yeah.
I feel like he was kind of being that one that would probably put the brakes on Canelo, you know.
Yeah.
And then he just ended up becoming another Canelo victim. But low key, if you guys, I forget his name, Alessandro Lara.
Yeah.
He fought Canelo, and low key, I thought he beat Canelo, man.
Lara. Never seen that one. Is that new?
He's older. I think he's a Cuban boxer.
Is it a recent fight?
No, it's older. I think it was a little bit after the Mayweather fight. So
gotcha.
I think he fought Angulo first, and then I think he fought Lara after that. But yeah, he struggles with the long, rangy Bivol style, Lara style boxing, which low key Mayweather fights like that. You know what I mean? 1-2 out of there, 1-2 out of there.
I try to. That brings up such a good point because I was thinking about it. You know, like if you had to pick one style, which one are you going with? And it almost seems to always go back to Mayweather style if you can get away with like that good Philly shell. But you know, I'm sure you've noticed. Well, you're talking about Floyd, but Canelo, there's at times where even though he's mostly high guard, you'll catch him in that same position at certain times in the fight.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Man, you know he's funny as fuck, but I'm kind of sad to see his decline. I love him, man. He's funny. Adrian Bronner, man.
Oh yeah, bro. I saw him on Fresh and Fit podcast. That guy
was he? He totally would be on that podcast.
Dude, that guy.
He should be a host on that podcast.
He gets mad females, bro. That guy's something else, dude.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Hey, B, always balling. But yeah, I don't know. I liked his Philly shell style a little bit more than Mayweather before, just because it was a little more offensive, you know?
Yeah.
He would kind of snipe from there instead of kind of wait and set traps.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a reason Mayweather fights the way Mayweather fights, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it works. Why fix something that's not broken?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the best trainers out there, that's how they teach it too. Like they'll try to teach you the standard way if you're, foundation trying to come up. But because I was always told, when you start out, you don't want to try doing Philly shell. It's too advanced and stuff like that. But
pretty much.
Yeah. It's very reaction based. Like if your reaction speed is not on par to be able to defend yourself.
Not a good style for you.
Yeah, man. Because at the end of the day, it's about not taking damage and doing damage.
Yeah.
So if the high guard is good enough for you to be able to pick your shots and find the opening,
still see your surroundings. Yeah.
So I feel like that's the thing about our style of being able to emulate different styles and be like, I want to fight like Canelo. I want to fight like Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? I want to fight like Mayweather.
Or know when to use their style. Like
exactly. That's it.
Because I want to know them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Choose when to use it.
Because like that's one thing. Remember, Kyle, we talked about with MMA Shredded when Kyle, when he started Muay Thai, he was a fan of Conor McGregor. So he would kind of be in a bladed stance. You know what I mean? And the coaches would be like, nah, like you got to learn it this way.
Yeah.
And what he said is the coaches usually do that because they don't really have an understanding of where you're at skill level wise. But if they start seeing you in sparring, like, okay, this guy,
you can get away with it.
Yeah.
It's like crossing your feet. They tell you don't ever cross your feet.
Right.
Yeah.
You see fucking Lomachenko just fucking dancing around and shit. Like, what about him?
And that's what confused me at first because I was like, I'm doing what he's doing. Like, I don't get it. Why can't? But then you hear through the grapevine or just with time, you hear the right person say, like, they tell you to do this, for a reason. And then, once you got the basics down, you branch out and you do what works best.
What's cool about that is feel like the really passionate people who are obsessed with the sport are the ones that, I think we're all in that category where you go training and then, you rest up, you eat. And then when you have idle time, it's like you're watching boxing or you're shadow boxing or you're doing something to supplement your training.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes when you're really tired, you work on the things that your coaches don't want you to work on. So whether it's like that Lomachenko shit that you're working on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, man, if coach saw me doing this, he'd be fucking pissed.
That's another thing that I hadn't got to experience yet since I hadn't, been able to train, go find a coach or anything. It's cool. I can do whatever I want, which could obviously lead to bad habits. But again, I wasn't setting out to be a professional.
What's cool about, I feel like, just being free and being able to copy any styles and not really being in a rigid program as far as martial arts is, because martial arts is an art. You know what I mean? Nobody teaches you how to draw and be like, this is the way to draw. Like eventually you learn how to develop your own style and you draw your own way. Eventually, like you have the weapons that I taught you, you're going to box your own way. You know what I mean? So I don't know that it's hard though, because right now most of the gyms are geared towards competition. So it's like, oh, you're fighting under a gym, you better fucking win. I don't want you trying that weird shit. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, I could see that happen.
Yeah. So that's
most
kind
of the people that say things to me that is like, it's kind of redundant. I get tired of hearing the same thing. It's from heavy gym guys that you see that are in that structured gym day in and day out, and they, fighting. Yes, I get it, but I'm talking to, like, I don't know if you know Tommy Ankello. He trained Roy Jones Jr. Like he's a Hall of Fame boxing coach, and like I'm DMing with him, and he's telling me what to do, and then I'm doing that, and then all these people are like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this. I'm like, oh man, sorry, I'll take it from this moment. I'm doing it wrong, and secretly I'll just be, because I want so bad to be like, yo, like showing my DMs, like, well, look, that's not what he said. I slowly try to get pieces of it out, but I also don't want him to think that, like, I don't know, I'm taking advantage of him. I guess
like showing him. Right. Yeah, we had this power lifter on the podcast, and he said the internet, as good as it is, it does open up the possibilities of trolls being able to tell professionals how to do their profession.
Exactly.
It's crazy that you get to talk to somebody like that. Anyway.
Man, it's fucking wild, man. It's the pros and cons, but whatever. They're watching and they're listening, and going back to kind of wrap everything up, like when you document your journey, like you are, like when Sylvie does, from training in the basement, getting your home gym set up to what it is now, and improving to where you're at now, and continually improving. Yeah. Even though you don't get the likes and even though you don't get the followers, it's crazy because people are watching. You know what I mean? Like whether they react or engage, like isn't it weird? Like they just creep.
Yeah, it is weird, man. It's strange to think that there's been so many people that, I mean, to me, it's a lot that have just stuck with me. A year is a long time to follow somebody, and especially to stay engaged that long with somebody. So it's cool, man.
And you know what I think is beneficial about that format is, not only do people get to see your journey, but tying it back into social media, right? All you see on social media are highlights. So I even threw this idea back with Chirizi. Like, what if I found a tactful way to put content on my Instagram or YouTube or whatever that weren't highlights, that would show like what the hell I was actually going through without being too explicit. And I think that could potentially, like in the future, be a good way or a good
to freshen things up, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think, and maybe it's just because I'm biased because I'm the one that's getting my ass kicked or doing the learning, but I feel like people dig that. They want to see that building process. They don't want to see the finished product all the time. We're saturated with polished fucking training and professionals. I mean, you just don't see enough. And the people who do try to do it, like me, they don't know how to edit videos. So nobody, the algorithm's not catching. So nobody gets to see their journey because they lack the knowledge of just basic editing skills. You got to have somewhat a decent video in order for somebody to continue to watch it. Yes. But, there's people that enjoy watching, if you get somebody that can edit good and stay consistent and really document those beginning phases of learning something like this, I think there's enough people out there to get a good niche, like you said, a good follower.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. And I think with your journey, even though he may not have that many followers now, based on, you know, Sylvie, she's freaking huge, man. She's famous.
Yeah.
So, you know, eventually, man, hopefully you can monetize. Hopefully, you know, people will find
Patreon
inspiration. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that would be cool, man. I definitely don't see it being an income replacement or anything like that.
I hope it does, though.
See, that's the cool thing about these things, right? Like the things that you were like, I love this thing. I hope it doesn't. When those hit, you know what I mean, and they end up becoming income, money, it's money. That's what I feel like that's magic. You know what I mean?
Magic, man. That's
hell yeah
cool stuff. So
I hope that for you, bro. I wish that for you,
bro. I hope that for both of you guys as well.
Hell yeah.
It's been awesome. I'm gonna follow you guys from here on out now for sure, and
fuck yeah, man.
Be able to join you guys again.
And for sure.
Of your guys' background.
Before we let you go, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
No, you go ahead. I was
just gonna be real. Favorite or name one movie, one song, and one book that have really changed your life or affected you. Movie, song, and book.
Movie Southpaw.
Southpaw.
Oh, great movie, man. Yeah.
Losing. Yeah. That touches hard for me. That song, man, I don't know, because you would think lyrics is what chooses the song. But what's weird is it's like classical music. It's so damn
interesting,
nerdy, but like it helps me with my focus, like my work.
Bro, I'm with you 100%, man.
Yeah, because like if I have lyrics, I'm kind of listening to it. I'm not fully focused, but with the classical music, man, it just sits me into a deep, good place. So song would just be classical, like some Mozart.
Gotcha.
A book. Man, I'm not a big reader, man. So it's not like I have a big list to choose from. I don't know. The Art of War, I haven't even read that. I just listened to it, you know, the audiobook. So
that's a good book, bro.
Love that one. I love David Goggins' book.
Yeah, I love that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, probably one of those. That's a good question, man. Book, song, movie, song. Book.
Oh, one more. Favorite UFC fighter.
UFC fighter, man. I don't know. I don't never have favorites of anything really.
Dustin Poirier, he's a good boxer.
I like him. I like him a lot. Man, I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite.
Yeah, Dustin Poirier is a pretty good boxer. I'm trying to think who the best boxer in the UFC is. That's what comes to mind whenever I think of the boxing would be Dustin.
Yeah. Dustin.
Did you guys see that video of Dustin at a parade and some guy?
Oh, he slapped him.
Yeah, he had a sign that says "Your wife is in my DM."
Oh,
Dustin came off and slapped the fool, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was like a parade on a truck, right? Or something.
Yeah. Dude, it's like a grown ass like 30 late 30-year-old.
Holding up the sign. Yeah.
He walked up to the truck with the sign saying "Your wife is in my DMs."
And bro, what do you think is gonna happen?
I think Poirier pretended to shake his hand or something. He was gonna pretend to shake
him with
his
a quick
hand.
smack.
Yeah, he slapped him in the face.
That's good.
He thought he was in the comment section. Like he thought he was protected.
He thought he was safe. Surely he hit me. Yeah. Even though Will Smith, Chris Rock.
Exactly.
That's funny because when you mentioned classical music, man, I'm all about I get really into conspiracy theories, and I always think it's about programming and stuff. But dude, the music that's out right now is pretty toxic and low key. They're mantras that they kind of programmed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's wild. You say that. I didn't know that because I don't listen. I don't know what's out, man. I don't ever listen to the radio. I don't. Any type of music that I listen to, as boring as it sounds, man, it's either the Eric Thomas or some kind of motivation.
Hell yeah.
Or it's music for a purpose, like studying or working, and that's usually classical music or some kind of instrumental on a low volume.
Yeah, you're not missing much, man. Because if you think about it, like when you listen to classical music, you're just left with your thoughts. So your imagination flows how it's supposed to flow. When you're hearing like, "All my friends are dead," it's like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah,
why am I thinking this shit?
I heard.
I'm trying to figure out what they're saying. Yeah.
I heard classical music like does something for your frontal cortex. Something along
it has
lines
to, man. I mean, there's if you type in classical music, like in YouTube or start this anything like that, you'll see the pre-fill out like for studying or study music or homework music, something like that. It maybe it's just me, but just since you said that, it seems to be definitely something there. It helps me get locked in.
Yeah, frequencies and sound vibrations are real, man. Those things are real. And there could be like subliminal like frequencies in the music on the radio making these kids all fucking crazy, dude. You never know.
Dude, I heard, I mean, not to go in too deep, but I heard they put like, sometimes they have like satanic audio samples.
We going deep.
Yeah, bro.
we going deep in the cave
for another 2 hours.
That's why I like y'all's your blueprint. You cover so many different things that like we could talk forever. And I love some of the topics. Like, we could definitely I definitely wouldn't mind chopping it up and talking to you guys about anything other than boxing too.
Hell yeah, man. It's an open door policy here in the cave, man. So you're always welcome. Last question to wrap it up. I've always wanted to ask this question to people that are educated in boxing, but who do you guys think would win in a 1-on-1? Tyson Fury or Muhammad Ali? Prime.
Tyson Fury.
It's a good one, right?
Tyson Fury. I think he's a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, other than what you can find, like I honestly hadn't seen Ali like as much as I've seen Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
I have to confess, I'm on the same page too.
Yeah.
Because Tyson Fury's he has good footwork, man. He's quick for a big guy like that.
So
he's
crazy.
Huge.
It's like unreal the way that man.
Man, what impresses me about him is his clinch work. Low key sneaky, man. That guy, collar ties, little pop shots. You know what I mean?
And I don't know if you guys know, but man, he's a big the mental health and sobriety, like sober. Yeah. That's right up my alley too, man. So I'm definitely a Tyson Fury fan. But did you say that? Most people would be like, dude, you're crazy if you go against anything Ali.
Yeah.
Or Tyson.
Controversial question. That's why I asked it.
Yeah.
But you agree, Jerezy?
What, Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I go Tyson Fury.
I think I have to, just based on the lack of knowledge about Ali fully.
Yeah.
That too.
I'm on the same boat. It might change after I do my deep dive on Ali, but I'm gonna run with.
Pretend like I know everything about Ali, even though there's a big ass picture of him right there.
Okay, how about this? My bad. How about this? Let's do this. Mike Tyson versus Tyson Fury at their prime.
At their prime?
Yeah, for the belt.
Mike Tyson's going to just catch him.
Yeah, I think Mike, dude.
Mike, too
much of this, bro.
Oh yeah, too much. He's gonna lean the wrong way one time.
Yeah,
man, I would not want to fight Tyson's prime. I like to think I ain't scared of nobody, but man, when he fought Spinks and that the chains where I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, the entrance music for that.
Man, I'd be scared.
Yeah,
I'd be scared.
I want to eat his kids.
I don't even like boxing no more. I don't even know why I was in here. I'll be honest with you. That's crazy.
Oh man, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
So that about wraps it up. Chris, thanks for coming on, man.
Chris, pleasure to meet you.
Where can people find you and stay in touch with you, my man?
Yeah, man. Box for Sobriety. That's on all platforms. If you're on Facebook, my real name is Chris O'Neill. But yeah, I'll be on there. And
you're on YouTube too, right?
I am. Yeah, Box for Sobriety on there. Yeah.
And Instagram, Box for Sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it, guys. That about wraps it up. Make sure to join the Discord if you want to continue the conversation and go deeper down the rabbit hole. Link is available on the website cave.com. This is the K Podcast. Chris O'Neill,
Thanks,
Boss for
Chris.
Sobriety. Thank you for listening, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.